Is this thing on? Testing. Hey, how goes it? Ken Bozak here to talk about Bitcoin and Bitcoin accessories. And today, wish I had a fucking mustache to curl. Today, I really wish I had a mustache to curl because I'm here with my bro, Crypto Stash. How goes it?
Yeah, man, in the house. Thanks for having me, buddy.
Dude, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do this. And dude, what is that behind you, by the way? I mean, you're gorgeous, but what is that?
This is like everyone asks about this is like my background for all my shit. So if you go to my website, this is one of the header background. Like I use it for all my graphic. It's like my inspiration, man. I love this graphic. It is a picture of Einstein, but it's like a tagging kind of like style graffiti art picture. And yeah, I found it for free on this website, and I was like, oh, I love this. I love this background. And so
It's like if Banksy
um,
did acid. It's so beautiful.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, he's the original crypto stash, the cryptography stash. And so I just try and take a little bit of.
Maybe you can dive into that. Maybe talk a little bit about how you got into Bitcoin and how the persona Crypto Stash came about.
Yeah, man. So it was one fateful day in
Hmm.
2013.
Before the rabbit hole.
Yeah, well, no, in general, man, I'm a tech guy. I've been in the tech industry for a while. I came from architecture, but I also been a coder since I was 16 and design and shit. And, I had heard about Bitcoin, I think, first in 2012, and I was just kind of like, what is this? Internet money? It's kind of all right. And then I was like, wait, Litecoin? What? This is a scam. There's two coins?
Right, right.
So I just like kind of passed it by. I was like, all right. And then 2013, I came back around to it. I started hearing a little bit more whispers about it online on Reddit and stuff like that. And I really dove into what it actually was this time. I didn't, just do a quick surface check and see it. That's when I really understood what blockchain was and how it was powered and the whole, ethos behind Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, all the stuff. And that, my friend, is when I went down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, when I realized I could send you a copy of something, but I still owned it, even though you had a copy of it, that blew my mind. I was like, what do you mean I own this, even though you
Yeah.
have a screen? Yeah, but they don't have the private key to it. And I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and just the implications of that simple, it's like simple yet elegant, and what you could do with that across so many different spectrums, right? And that's really what blew my mind, understanding like, wow, everything is gonna be powered by this eventually. Just as powerful as the internet was when it first came out, and no one knew it, no one was really using it until there, some mainstream event hit it, and now everyone uses it all day long. And so now you kind of, so yeah, that's what really interests me. So I was like, I gotta get in, man. I gotta get in
When
this
was
shit
this?
right now. This was the end of 2013. So
Whoa,
right at the beginning of
nice.
2014, I bought my first Bitcoin, and then Mount Gox, boom, woo! And I was like, okay, well, maybe that was a bad decision. But I'm just gonna sit on this shit. I don't think it is. I believe in this stuff, and I just did. I sat on it for like 2 years, didn't do anything with it. Like just let it sit there, didn't check it. And then 2016, I kind of came back around to it. And I was like, oh yeah, man. And I started hearing a little bit more about it just online. I was like, oh, I have some Bitcoin. Fuck, I remember.
It's
Let me
like
go check
like we used to play Minecraft. I remember probably have some of that stuff somewhere. It's just, it was like internet game money to a lot of people before now.
Right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. It was, use very rare occasion where you could actually use it somewhere. And so I went back and I checked it, and I was like, oh wow, it's actually increased a little bit here in value, and that's not too bad. And so I started like just kind of looking more into it, researching more in 2016, and it just really interests me a lot. And I started trying to talk to friends about it, but no one wanted to talk to me about it, man. They were just like, what? You're stupid. That's a scam. Or they didn't even know what the hell I was talking about, and it just got these blank ass stares, just like,
Right. Yeah, I get that
you
a
know.
lot. They're like, well, yeah, Visa works. Why would we need anything else? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to sit you down.
There's so many levels. There's so many
Yeah.
levels you got to go through with somebody. And I started going through those levels. I'm not a financial guy. I was not big into like stocks or trading or anything that was of a financial nature until I came across Bitcoin. I'm a musician as well, so I'm more on the artistic, creative side of things, and obviously the tech side of stuff as well, but just not the financial side.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's when I kind of like started getting this. I was like, well, I don't have anybody to talk to about this stuff. I'm just going to start my own like blog, and I'll just be able to talk to, write some things there, write down my thoughts, the stuff I'm actually doing. the cool things I find. And then if the friends are interested, I could just direct them that way. I don't have to keep trying to sound like a fucking broken record every time.
That
I'm
starts to
getting
get
excited about it.
real tired. Yeah, man. Like, yo, so what's block? I'm like, oh, this is the 15th time today.
Right. Right.
Yeah, I feel like that's a lot of why content creators kind of got started. It wasn't really to do much of content creating as much as like here, like to people who ask
Yeah.
questions repeatedly. You know, it was more like a pamphlet or something like that of
Right.
information for people. It kind of for me it grew way much more than just that. After a little while, I don't know, became like ubiquitous to crypto. It can't escape it. I mean, look at all the
Mhm.
crypto-ness. It's insane. You know, so what inspired Crypto Stash besides like the beautiful thing you got going on over there?
This was it, man. This beautiful hair toupee right here. This face toupee is what really kind of came about it. So I was like, all right, well, if I'm gonna do this website, like I'm gonna do it right because I build websites for a living. That's my day job. I masquerade as a crypto superhero during the daytime and nighttime, but really I should be working on websites and managing my team. But yeah, in general, I was like, why if I'm gonna do this website, I'm gonna do it right. And so I looked around. I kind of was on Twitter and in some of these other platforms, and I saw everyone was like a crypto something, and I was like, oh, all right, yeah, I could be the Crypto Stash. And
Oh,
so I
I
went
love
to
it.
see. That was it. That was it. I just kind of looked around, saw other people were kind of like doing this, their labels as crypto something, and crypto Bobby, crypto this, crypto that. And so I'm like, well, I can find one that's easy, Crypto Stash. I mean, I got this sweet mustache. It's great for branding. So I came up with the logo, I came up with the name, put the website together, and yeah, just started jotting down my thoughts real quick, and that's.
How long has that been growing to get to where it's at?
So it's been a while since I've shaved it off, man. I actually started this
Well, I
mustache
mean,
grow.
dude, can you even shave it off now? I mean, it's like
I
your
can't,
name, it's your brand.
dude. There's so many people. Yeah, I would be hated on
That
by
would
my
be like when
family.
Pauly Shore shaved his head in the army. Now it was
Yeah,
like, oh
like the
man,
hair.
like Carrot Top
No
can't
more
shave
weed
his
in the
fucking
juice.
head.
Yeah. No, I actually I ran a music festival here in Long Beach, a folk festival, folk and bluegrass and roots music festival. And the first year I did it, I was like, hey, we're gonna do this mustache and beard competition. That'd be a lot of fun. Everyone's like, yeah, it sounds great. I was like, I'm gonna grow a mustache. Watch, I'm gonna get all the prizes back because we don't have a lot of money to do this.
Mm.
And that's where it came from, man. And then I didn't realize how incredibly intense the facial hair community actually was. There are some massive, crazy mustaches and beards out there, man. And I got decimated in the competition, to say the least.
I used to
Did
have a
not win my prizes
pretty
back.
sweet beard and stash, and I used to be kind
Yeah.
of into it. I was thinking about doing a competition, and I don't know, man. I was looking at like a local one, and some dude had like, I don't know, there was like words written in his beard and
Yeah.
shit. I was like, what the? I can't do that. Like,
They get
that's insane.
crazy.
It was like one dude had like a Santa's sleigh looking thing on
Yeah.
his face. I was like, that's his beard. That's just hair.
Yeah.
So it's pretty competitive, and you have to be pretty artistic. And
Yeah.
I don't really got that flair. I would probably just come out looking like Jafar from Aladdin. Like, yeah, exactly. So,
Excellent.
so what have you been doing in the space since you kind of got into, creating content and stuff like that? I've seen you do a lot of like, talks of different projects and updates of Bitcoin and what Bitcoin's up to. So what's more your platform about for the viewers so they know?
Yeah, so that this whole process, man, led me to like starting. I started writing these articles, and I didn't think anyone was really listening. I wasn't really promoting it. I wasn't on social like plugging my shit. I was kind of like doing a little underground. And then eventually, I just started getting more organic traffic, and then I started getting people that I didn't know asking me questions, like emailing me. I'm like, whoa, that's weird. I don't know this person. But like slowly but surely, I got more and more people kind of asking questions and wanting to know about it, and so. I realized that there was a need for people who were beginners to have a good educational resource that was easy for them to understand. In particular, people who are a little bit older demographics sometimes don't do well as well with online learning. And so I started kind of pushing more that direction, like, oh, well, I could do articles and things that are more helpful for beginners, so when they get started, or people who are intermediate level. And then so I launched my first in-person Bitcoin crash course in the middle of 2017. I think it was August August maybe.
A crash course? What's a
Yeah.
Bitcoin crash course?
So basically, it takes you from knowing zero to knowing at least enough to be confident getting started with cryptocurrencies in Bitcoin. So I took like a class of like 20 people. We were there. We got our computers. I'm up front, my fucking tie and vest, looking all sweet and styling with this stash on point.
Yes.
And we basically go from, what is Bitcoin, the very basics, what is a blockchain, what is a wallet. We go from that to then you're showing you how to get on your first exchange, buying your first Bitcoin, and then getting into topics like security and transactions, and just basically showing them the ropes so they can understand the technology a little bit better, but done in a very simple way where it's easy for them to understand. It was like a 3-hour course. And so, yeah, it worked out great, man. I've done a couple of those, quite a few actually here. I do one maybe once every other quarter or so, so maybe like 2 or 3 a year.
Do you have any like
Um,
repeaters or anything? I'm just curious if you keep in touch with them to see how they're doing. I always wonder about the people I helped set up like wallets and stuff and like
yeah,
meetups, and I'm just like, I hope that the bear market didn't bum them out.
right.
That's like one of my first thoughts, and I'm just curious, like, what do you think about like the people that got in around 2017 as opposed to most of us who got in before that? It's
Yeah.
totally a different feeling that we have as opposed to they have.
Yes.
We're I'm still up. Bitcoin's still up
Right.
from
Me
when
too.
I
Yeah.
got in. So it's only really the people that got in like 2017 to 2018 that are really feeling a specific way about it, and I worry about them, and I don't know,
Yeah.
if I want a bull run to bring them back or if I just want it to just start to be ubiquitous and used. I don't want to see, Facebook coin starts to take off because, people want to use it because of that, and they don't want to give Bitcoin the time of day because of that.
Yeah.
That's marketing's the only thing that's really hurting Bitcoin. I'm just curious, like, what are your thoughts though on like on ramping the newbies after a bull run bear market crash? Like, my meetups are pretty dry anymore.
Yeah, man. So first, yeah, I do. I try and keep up with all of my students. They're all. I try and get them all. On my newsletter. So clearly there's been quite a few have dropped off. People who were interested because it was at this crazy high, and now maybe they've lost interest because they lost some money, whatever it be. I try and still encourage them, like, hey, I know that things have been rough. You're not the only one. Know that you're not the only one that lost money, that put money in and lost. I mean,
Oh, even the people that didn't lose money, there's people
yeah,
that were like, "Oh, when Bitcoin goes down,
they're
I'll
just
buy," and
yeah.
now it is, and they're like, "No," and but you said that was your buy point, man. Like, stick to your gut.
Right. Right, exactly. And so I think that especially for beginners, when they get in right before something like that, they see these crazy highs, and then boom, it crashes on them. I think that's a huge deterrent for them to want to get back in. But hopefully, the idea is that after the classes that I teach, they then are still connecting with me. They're still coming to the website. I've definitely kept in contact with quite a few of the students I still talk to on a fairly regular basis. They're either in my Facebook group or my Telegram chat, which is really active for a small group of people. And so I try and still keep them interested. I put out daily content, almost daily content. I try and do 3 or 4 things each week, focusing on some cool topics. But yeah, you're right. It's hard to keep these people interested
Well, you
because
do
I
your
think that a lot
content
of
pretty
people,
uniquely. That's how I think you keep them interested, man. Like, you're
yeah.
entertaining as fuck, dude. I love like the amount of effort you put into some of your videos and stuff, and it's just cool, dude. So like, what are some of like the Bitcoin like recent events that maybe have caught your attention that people should maybe check out?
Yeah, so Bitcoin type of stuff, like you were saying earlier, I think that, I'm kind of worried too about this whole next era or generation of crypto investors, or people who are getting exposed to cryptocurrencies through bullshit ass coins like Facebook coin or JP
JP
Morgan
Morgan
coin.
coin, yeah, I
Yeah,
see it.
or dare I say it, at Ripple, like XRP as well. Like all these people out here, like, come on, man. Like we're trying really hard here. You don't understand. Maybe you don't understand what the force, the driving ethical force or ethos behind what we're trying to accomplish. Bitcoin was a political statement. It always was from the beginning, and it always will be. And so that's something I try and always preach and teach as well. And so yeah, it definitely worries me, man. Seeing a lot of these institutional people coming in and people being all about it. Oh, I can't wait till the institutional money gets here. Yeah, it's gonna be great, bull run, man. I'm like, fuck those guys.
Well, I saw what happened. The first people that started using what was it, Gemini Dollar, large whales that were using it were getting their accounts frozen for trying to move too much too fast, and because they had the ability to freeze assets using that
Yeah.
stable coin, and people wanted regulations, and well, with regulations you kind of get screwed. I mean, that's what's going to happen, and I do worry about the whole perpetuation of like Facebook coin, and there's no worries to me about JP Morgan coin because nobody can use it. You have to be
Right,
accredited,
right, right.
investor approved brokers and shit. So it
Yeah,
doesn't even compete with Bitcoin, but that's what the
it doesn't.
mainstream media would lead people to believe. And that's the thing with like right now, you're right, kind of. I guess what you're saying is we're fighting misinformation
Yes.
hard. So
Yeah.
hard. And that's why we got to keep creating
Always.
content and talking about what's really going down, like Lightning Network. And like right now, it's like bringing, I think it's really bringing the institutional attention really on to how it works, not so much as like a pump and dump vehicle, but like the underlying layer of blockchain. Because look at even
Yeah.
Fidelity, they picked up the Lightning Torch, and other institutional Harvard picked up the Lightning Torch.
Oh
It's
yeah, I didn't know
start
that.
yeah, it's crazy, man. It's their it was one of their college clubs or whatever for crypto, but it was like Harvard Crypto College Club. So still Harvard. It's freaking cool. Like they're learning about Lightning, and they're becoming part of it because now they have a Lightning channel with
Right.
all of us.
Yeah, and I think those things are really cool. Because Bitcoin is not a company, it's not a business. It doesn't have a marketing team. It's like a running working organization. It relies on the community to be able to do that, and so we do run into a lot of misinformation out there. I mean, every time I talk to anybody about crypto that's still not really into it, they give me the same kind of tired talking points that they saw on like CNBC one time, or they saw on like the major magazine. And I'm just, and so you're right, we're always fighting against this misinformation. And I think that when the mainstream media publicizes things like JP Morgan coin or Facebook coin, it kind of dilutes the
Yep.
importance, I feel, of what we're doing in the space in general. And they're just looking for another sensationalized headline to be able to get more clicks.
Yep. That's what they're doing too, and it's disheartening. It really is, and I really hope that people wake up to that, centralized censorable transaction. Like imagine you put your money into this Facebook coin, and for some reason they just freeze your account because they've been deleting accounts for random reasons, either your political points of view
Yeah.
or if you're into like medical cannabis. Facebook pages have been and accounts have been being deleted. So if you're a pretty active political vocal person on Facebook, then you use them as a bank. They're just going to shut you down and censor you just because their terms and services say your political views don't suit their platform.
Right.
And there you go. So now they're going to be able to like, I mean, whoever controls the money controls the people kind of thing. And that's like what really
Yeah.
worries me when it comes to that. So I don't know. And you're right. But I think what you mentioned kind of brings me to like, Bitcoin's more like the very first successful DAO. There is no, company behind it. There's no CEO. It is a successful DAO. It's decentralized. It's an autonomous organization of people that are either miners, nodes, developers,
Yeah.
content creators, whatever. It is a pretty amazing, powerful tool. So I'm just curious, so what, like, what are your thoughts on some of the ICOs that you've seen come through the time? What have caught your attention? The ones that have come and gone, and maybe some that have succeeded or failed.
Well, that's a good question, man. But before I get to that, actually, I want to just put one more point on what we were talking about earlier. And, the whole idea of Bitcoin and the properties it has. I think one of the biggest hurdles we have, too, not only misinformation, is that most people just don't fundamentally understand how money works and how our financial system works. I mean, I know
I
I
forget
didn't
about that a lot. Yep.
when I really first got started, in 2013 with Bitcoin. I didn't, but it prompted me to learn more. And then the more I learned, I was like petrified. I was mortified, man. I'm sitting there like I feel like frozen, like all the things I had done and I should have been doing, because if I had this knowledge prior, I would have been setting myself up a lot differently, right, than I was at the time. And so I think that that's a huge hurdle in a lot of stuff we do, is that before you can even explain why Bitcoin is great and why it works great, that person has to know a lot of fundamentals about why our monetary system is broken and why these things make a lot of sense, to be able to at least give us a different option, give us another option when we haven't had another option.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I forget a lot of that isn't really like common knowledge, and
It's not.
it was such a scary awakening. It was like, learning about fractional reserve lending and everything, and I'm like, wait, what? They can do that?
Yeah.
It's like that they're calling this magic internet money. That shit's like magic. They just hit 1010 enter and they just make way
Print,
more
print, print.
fiat. Right. I'm like, yo, that's magic. This is work. Bitcoin's proof of work. Fiat's
Yeah.
that magic shit, and I don't know, man. It's backed by nothing, and people just. I talked to a couple people about it as I got into crypto, and it was insane how many people thought fiat was still backed by gold. Like that's just
Yeah.
like a weird common thing that I've come across. More than 50% of the people I talk to about money, they're like, yeah, but it's backed by gold. What's Bitcoin backed by? And I'm like, oh shit. All right. Well, like, how's
But
Bitcoin, or like, you know what I mean? Like back, like, so what is Bitcoin backed by? I should ask, right?
right. Well, I mean, exactly. And so, people will say like those same kind of arguments, and you say, well, what is Bitcoin backed by? Well, what gives it value is not only the fact that it's censorship resistant. So, like you were saying earlier, no one can stop you from sending money here to there. You know what I'm saying? We already have that problem right now where, if they want to freeze your bank account or they want to freeze your assets because you did something they don't like, well, that can be done. Bitcoin it doesn't have those same kind of limitations of censorship by a central authority. That's a huge point right there. And then, the fact that it allows value transfer from person to person without having to use a middleman. We get middled on a daily basis in everything financial, man. If you're trying to send money, do something, middleman. Like
Many
you just have a
middlemen.
bank account. Having a fucking bank account, you got to pay a fee for them to hold your money every month. And you know what they're doing with their money? They're like, like you said, they're using it to make way more money with your money, and they give you like almost nothing back.
No, they're charging you for making
They're,
money on your money. That's
right,
exactly what they're
exactly.
doing to me.
Yeah.
They're giving me enough back to not even break even on the fees.
Right. And then, on top of that, the blockchain and the Bitcoin runs on, it's immutable. So these transactions are always there. You can't fake them. You can't, reverse them. You can't go back. And sometimes people look at that as being a bad thing. But I love the transparency there that you don't ever get with traditional finances. You just don't. Banks aren't transparent about what they're doing behind closed doors. You don't know how much money they're making off of your money or what they're actually doing. When Western Union is taking your money and they say it's going to be 3 days and that'll be $60 for you to send that $1,000 overseas, and then what they're doing in that same amount of time is they're leveraging that money to make more money as well. And
And
so
yeah,
it just
it would be
becomes
nice to see why Wells Fargo didn't have enough cash for everybody for a week.
right, and that's another point too. Is Bitcoin is decentralized, and so when we talk about what gives it value, well, the thousands of nodes around the world that are running this software give it value. The fact that so many people believe in it, and just like anything else, really, what gives anything else value? Well, what gives gold value? When everyone says, "Oh, well, it should be backed by gold because gold has value," well, what gives gold value? That we use it for some sort of purpose and we like it because it's shiny.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's it, man. You can make jewelry out of it, which people love, and then it has some limited uses in other cases, like in manufacturing technology goods, computer parts, spare, space stuff, cool things that we use. But in general, it's not like
Yep.
when you talk
I
about
mean, you
things
could add scarcity to it
highly
too.
used thing.
You could add scarcity, right? But then when it comes to scarcity, the ease of being able to prove a Bitcoin's a real Bitcoin and gold's a real gold is totally different.
Right.
I got to spend money to prove that you're giving me real gold because I don't know if this is
Well,
real gold or what quality of gold it
right.
is.
And that's true. And they say, well, there's a limited quantity of gold. I'm like, yeah, there is on this planet, but it keeps going up because we just keep finding more. They don't know for sure how much gold is actually on this planet. They just can guess.
Right.
And then once we start mining off planet, then the supply is going to increase. But the supply of Bitcoin is never going to increase. It's mathematically built in, and therefore, just because of that, it's deflationary, money versus our fiat money, which is incredibly inflationary, and it just loses more and more value over time, all the time. So all those points right there point to like why it's it has value, why it's something we should be using, and why it's a better option in general. And then it brings me to what the question you had earlier, which is about ICOs. That's kind of the next evolution right there.
The projects that were inspired by this technology that, a lot of people say, why not just use Bitcoin's blockchain? And I mean, for hopefully for the successful projects, it's because of bandwidth issues. You know,
Hmm.
like what happened with CryptoKitties and Ethereum. You know, and that's why I'm so kind of glad that nobody's really building on Bitcoin yet. Like, it's not ready for all this, like, you know, cat videos on the blockchain shit that happens with, you know, Ethereum and CryptoKitties. But that's the thing, the test outside of that realm. And I think Bitcoin will incorporate, or people will be able to build on top of Bitcoin's blockchain a lot more conveniently than today. But I love the idea of experimenting. So yeah, again, like, what were some of the ICO projects that like caught your attention? You know, maybe some that didn't succeed that, you know, were like, damn, I wish that was still around, or some that like kind of took off, and what set them apart?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, and, you know, just talking about ICOs in general, real quick, you know, I think that the cool thing about them is that, yeah, you know, the idea behind Bitcoin and blockchain spawned this new way for companies or prospective companies to like raise funds instead of having to go through all the shitty hoops that you have to go through when you're trying to raise money in a traditional way, through like, you know, securities or through a traditional funding round. You have to go through a lot of things to be able to do that as a company, and you end up paying a lot of fees and shit too.
Yeah, good luck getting your kid a lemonade stand business approval.
Right, exactly. So like ICOs were yet again another option for us to sidestep a very entrenched and traditional method of raising funds that, you know, was just not working. It was not working for progressive technologies, and the ICO was born because they work really well, and people, you know, they exploded in 2017. I mean, 2017 was the year of the ICO, man. I mean, it was pretty crazy. We saw a lot of scammy ones, right? I'm sure you were party to seeing a lot of that happen, and so was I.
I
And you
was a
know,
party to one at firsthand, man. I watched an ICO exit at their launch party. It was insane.
damn,
Yeah,
that's gangster.
insane. They flew me out there to cover their exit, which was
They're
basically
like,
what happened.
they're like, all right, guys, thanks for all the money. Thanks for coming to our launch party. We out this bitch.
Pretty
Peace.
much exactly what happened. Like right after their little party thing and they took all the pictures, they were like doing coke and shots and shit. I'm just like, what the fuck just happened?
Wow.
Like, they
Yeah.
know media's here, right? Like, dude, I ran. I ran, dude. It was the scariest thing. But like things like even like Kick did an ICO, right? Or Kodak. Fucking Kodak did an ICO.
Yeah.
Remember that? Everybody
Yep.
was doing an ICO.
I mean, there was so many. It was like the hot thing to do, and you're right. And because, you know, especially right before this bull market hit, it was just all these projects were just lined up to suck everyone's money away on that bull run.
I wish I knew
And I
where that
think that
money
was
was
a big
coming
driver.
from. That was a lot, dude. There's a lot
It was
out
a
of the
lot.
market, you know,
But you
billions
know,
now.
but it wasn't all bad. Like I would say probably 90% of the ICOs that launched or trying to take people's money in 2017, early 2018 were probably scammy and have failed by now. If they haven't, I'd be surprised. But there's some great ones that, in particular, you know, I'll go over the great ones that I really love first, and some of the ones I'm still like, you know, we'll see. So one of my favorites is Engine.
Oh,
Engine
love
is,
engine.
yeah, Engine has been, you know, an amazing project. They have continued to build during 2018. They're launching, you know, so many great things. It's a game-focused platform, so blockchain-specific gaming. They're launching an SDK basically for people to be able to do this, but they have a ton of games that are already signed onto their multiverse of like blockchain gaming, which is kind of like what you saw in that movie/book Ready Player One, where you have this like, you know, multi-connected game network where all of your stuff can kind of flow across all these games and stuff. And so yeah, and on top of a million other things, you have an amazing wallet that's super secure. They launched their own blockchain explorer, which is going to be a universal blockchain explorer here
Yeah,
pretty
that's gonna be
soon.
sick.
It's going to be sick, right? And then they're launching ERC 1155 collectibles onto that blockchain too. So it'll be the
Which
first
is
one
right
ever.
behind you on Einstein, right? You got one of those things, don't
That's
you?
that's my
I got
logo, man.
one.
Yeah, and so I made I did a
Let
partnership
me
with
see.
Engine, and I gave away a bunch of these stash loot tokens, and so they were that was a cool promo I did with them. And so yeah, so just in general, you know, they're doing a lot of really cool things in the space. And I got in the ICO with Engine, and it was one of the best ones. I've been a gamer
Right
for a
there.
long time. There it is, bro. Yeah, the stash loot. That's awesome. Yeah. So you know, and that's on the Engine wallet, and there's so many great things that they've done. So you know, when
Love
you
this
talk
thing.
about ICOs, it's not all bad, but like other ones like Wax. Wax is also another one of my favorite ones. Yet again, another gamer token. Big gamer here. Big believer in gamer. focused blockchains
Wax is
because
pretty
of that.
debatable, though. If you're open to debate it, because not too many people
I
I
am.
have on the podcast know
Yeah.
enough to debate it. And I'm on your side, but I would love to play like the devil's advocate
All right,
because
go for
I
it.
deal with them all the time.
What
You
what
know,
don't you like about Wax?
I have a bunch of collectibles that the games that they're kind of designed for don't even acknowledge their existence or implementation into the game. So there's
Yeah.
a skin for a gun that I have in a game that I bought for $100, but I can't use that skin in that game that the skin's for.
Hmm.
Right, like they're building things right that you can't really use yet.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I mean, I get that. I think that makes sense. I think that there's Engine has a lot of that too. I think there's a lot of things out there, these MFTs and other things for these games that are just not developed yet, but
Right.
they're releasing them as a way to kind of like help raise funds here in the beginning, not as
Like
much
an
of an
ICO, right? Kind of, but you actually have more of a utility thing than
Well,
a receipt.
you're actually getting something. I mean, it's an actual, NFT, a non-fungible token that is limited in some sort of way, and so it will have. They all say, "Oh, we will have a thing," but it could very well be that one of these games flops, and then there's nothing, and so it's a possibility there. I think what Wax is doing is really good in general. The game. How the actual skins translate in the game, I think that they don't have as much control over that, but hopefully the infrastructure is being built out more because basically what they've done is that they have this other business called OpSkins, which is
Yep.
where the website really runs off of. And OpSkins has been a skins trading website for multiple years now, and so you can go on there and trade like CS:GO skins and skins from other games. And for in general, like I haven't traded any of those particular skins, so I haven't been able to try that process out itself. But they definitely push a lot of money through that website, buying and selling skins for different games. And so what they really have done for this first rollout is allow you to be able to buy and sell those skins using Wax, but also to have your own like little storefront that you can use like a widget on your website to be
Hmm.
able to sell your items as well. And then they've come out with some cool little things like Wax stickers, which are kind of cool. I made my own Wax
Yeah, I
sticker. I
got
think
one
it's
of those things. They're fun.
yeah, I sent you a Wax sticker, and so I give those out every once in a while, and they're like limited edition, and so you can buy them with fiat, or you can buy them with Wax on the platform.
Or it could go up in value, and I could trade that sticker for an actual physical item because
Yeah,
I like Wax's new like vIRL. Have you checked
yeah,
that out? That's
yeah,
dope. They have a vault that you can send like physical things to get like tokenized, basically.
yeah,
If you
yeah,
have
yeah,
like a pair of Yeezy shoes or something, they'll send you a
yeah,
private key
exactly.
for it. It's really cool, man. And I like that they have the that cool unboxing thing that they've kind of done where they use smart contracts that you can audit. So if you want to do a random item unboxing thing that could have like Nintendo Switch in it or
Yeah.
a pair of socks or whatever, you put $5 up, you do a random spin, and you can kind of even audit the results because they're using smart contracts to kind of make
Mhm.
sure that there's a random generation of
A
items in
true
that
random
box.
generation, yeah.
Yeah, and you have different amounts give you different odds, but that's right
Yeah,
there, different smart contracts.
right.
So it's really cool what they're doing with that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like through smart contracts, you can really give these provably fair, gaming aspects. It works with gambling, it works with giveaways.
It's
So
open
yeah, I
source. You
mean,
could build your own.
yeah, yeah, exactly. You can build your own too, and so yeah. I mean, I like what Wax is doing. I think that they are the other side of kind of gaming, creating like a more of a marketplace. I would love to see Wax and Engine team up because what I feel about what's cool, Engine is lacking is they don't have a great marketplace for trading
It's true.
all these
Open
NFTs.
Sea and things like that, man. Like I feel like a lot of these companies that are doing NFTs really need to partner up and stop trying to do everything in house and compete with each other. Like we've seen
Yeah,
enough of that shit with like Nintendo and Sony and fucking everybody else that makes gaming consoles. It doesn't really benefit to compete. And now we have what is open platform games that are like cross-platform games like
mhm.
Fortnite that have way more users because it's possible for me to play with my friends that don't have a PlayStation.
Yeah,
And that's what I think is going to be really important with these NFTs is that cross-platform capability that Wax
yes.
provides. It's going to be I mean, if I have some kind of skin and Engine makes this possible too with their what you call that? Their browser that like you can just take one item from one game and kind of walk it into another even.
Yeah, they're multiverse basically.
Multiverse, that
Multiverse.
thing. Yeah, dude, like that's what's gonna make this worthwhile when people don't have to like have 1,000 different items for each different game or each different
Yeah,
operating system or device or platform. It's more cross networking, and yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of synergy with Engine and Wax.
Yeah. I mean, I think there'll still be a lot of like individualistic type items in each individual game, but you know, a lot of these multiverse items you'll be able to use in every game. So it's like, okay, well, you can use it in this one game and it's an actual weapon that your guy can hold. In this trading card game, it's a card that has a special ability. In this,
Oh snap!
in this fighting game, it's a weapon that maybe you can choose, or you know, in this RPG, it's a weapon that you can buy or sell. You know, so it'll have multiple uses across multiple games, and I think we're just kind of barely seeing the beginning of that. So I mean, those are two ICOs that I think did really well. I was in both of them. There's a couple other ones that's I really like XYO is another one that's doing some pretty cool geolocation things. And
Never heard of that. What are they up to?
So yeah, XYO is like they're basically it's like an oracle. So it's a way to bring real life actions and things and data to the blockchain with kind of this
crowdsourced prediction market.
Well, it's not necessarily prediction. It's just a way to digitize information onto the blockchain. It kind of makes this bridge, and so a lot of it what it does is it has to do with like geodata. So they have these really cool like little dongle things you can get, and it's like it's kind of like mining on their network where you go around and it's collecting geographic data, which is kind of interesting. But
okay,
it's a pretty complex project, man. But in general, it was one of the cooler ones, and they're very focused on hardware that does these types of things, and it has a greater kind of impact on the overall space. And so I think they're very interesting. There's a couple other ones that came out that I really think are pretty cool. Let me see some other ICOs.
Somebody commented ERC 1155 support is coming to Engine X.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier. Is that they're getting ready to launch that here, like probably next week or in a week or two. They showed a preview today on Twitter. So
well, I saw some of the things that you were talking about, where like an item is one thing in one game and another item in another game. Even with Ethereum, My Ethereum, it's a trading card game, and you can take your CryptoKitty and basically turn it into a trading card on their game.
Right.
Basically cross platform that card. So it's either a CryptoKitty or I could use it in this game as a trading card. So it is already happening, and I'm just like, it's blowing my mind. And I think Engine just partnered even with Samsung in some way.
They did. Cool. Big news on that, man. Is that they're the Samsung Galaxy S10 is coming out here pretty soon, and they are going to have they're one of the several DApp partners, and they're going to be like the running the built-in wallet with Samsung. And all the details are not like super. They're not super there, but it's pretty much been confirmed at this point.
Oh, they definitely confirmed the SDK for Unity, though. That's what's got me excited, because that means anybody, and I've made Android apps because they're easy and it's fun, and it is really cool that you just have a click, drag, drop, and you can tokenize your in-game items on Engine now as a regular standard Android developer. There's no extra steps. It's a native tool now. So imagine like if Flappy Bird first came out and there was only 20 of the red birds ever, and every other bird was like blue, yellow. I could have 1 out of 20 Flappy Bird. Like, that's not the case, but it would be nostalgically cooler if I could prove I owned it, and that would bring more people into a brand and build a community, because I want to own the thing that's in the game, right? Like when I play Fortnite, I don't feel like I own anything, because I don't.
No, you don't. It sits on a server, and if they decide to change something or something happens, then you don't own that anymore. I mean,
oh, dude, I've seen people get caught in a glitch because the game had a bug, and the company says, "Oh, you were cheating," so they get kicked and banned. It's like, there you go. That's all it takes.
So you don't truly own those assets, and in games like that, like, you can't trade them. So that's a big thing, I think, in a lot of games. You see games like even some trading card games like Hearthstone, where or Magic, the Gathering Arena, where you have these cards, but you don't really own them, and you can't trade them. You can't. Like, it would be nice to be able to say, "Oh, I have these 5 extras because I open all these packs," but they're just going to sit there. And so I think that's another big thing, is that when you actually own something like this throughout a game network, you can actually trade it for other items, and I think that actually makes it a pretty big difference.
Have you ever played Steam Monsters?
I haven't got to Steam Monsters, man.
I got a free code for you. I got a free code for you to get you started. They just opened up tournaments. You can win real
Yeah,
money now. Like I'm sitting here
yeah.
looking at tournaments for tonight, and there's like $30 tournaments, $25 tournaments, which means
Wow.
I have a chance to make like $50 if I can win these tournaments with these cards. And even just playing, I get rewarded with cards, and
Yeah.
I've won one card at one point that was worth $800 just
Wow.
playing. Yeah.
Yeah, so I went the other way, and I've been involved with Gods Unchained. I don't know if you've checked out GU, but
I
it's a
do want to bring that up a little bit, but I've mentioned I love Gods Unchained, and I made videos on them. It's there, it exists, and I've
yeah,
invested. I put money into them. But this is why I did ICOs, NFTs, and then STOs, and kind of in like the description, because NFTs are kind of the ICOs of this movement right now. What's happening? I mean, especially because I can kind of relate it to Gods Unchained. Is it the
right.
platform isn't released yet, so it
Yeah.
kind of feels like I could have bought some of these Kodak coins, and now I have to wait for
Kodak
Kodak
coin.
to do that thing they promised, right? But
Yeah.
I'm staring at these cute little cards, and I can't play with them, right? It's in beta, and it's not public, and it's just not even just Gods Unchained, but other companies that are using this NFT fund or crowdfunding method to raise money for their projects. It's really similar to the ICO
Yeah.
industry kind of boom. So I'm just like
Right.
curious,
But
what are
their
your thoughts
utility,
on that?
yeah, but they actually have a utility, and so that's the big
Well,
difference. Is
the
that
utility difference is having a platform to utilize that utility token on. Otherwise, it's not a
right.
utility token until there is a way to utilize it.
Well, and that's true, but I think that it's with the intent of it being a utility, and not with the intent of it being a security, where it's like, hey, holding this, you're going to be guaranteed some sort of value increase, right?
True.
It's like holding this means you can play this game, and it allows you to do this cool thing in this
But to
game.
call it a utility, wouldn't you have to wait to have that platform to then sell that asset on?
I don't
Otherwise,
think
it's
so.
not a
No,
utility.
no, I don't think
Well,
so. I
what if
think
the
that,
platform never exists? Is it still a utility token?
well, if they collapse and then that happens, then I would call that just a scam.
That's
I
the
mean,
Schrodinger scam of crypto, everybody.
but it would still, yeah, but I still would think that it would be considered a utility because that's its intended purpose. That's how they're selling it. And so it all comes down to how you sell it. So yeah, you can definitely not have something built. There doesn't have to be a platform already built where it's usable, but it's how you actually sell it and market it. And that's what makes the difference.
Somebody
So if
just
you
said
sell it
crypto
and market it
kitties and
as a security, then you're not registered, then you may have the SEC coming after your ass. But the way they're selling it is that it's going to have a future utility in their game to do something specific, and that's the reason why you want to buy it.
good point. I mean, ICOs, there were like a lot of them, and a lot of people don't understand the difference right now, like between a lot of
Yeah,
the different ICOs. Is there were ICOs that were raising money to do other things with that money that were to design or build something that never actually intended the use case for that token you got
yeah,
sold. And there were other
right,
platforms that intended to build something that the token they gave you would it be used in some way to benefit or give you discounted or some kind
right,
of use in the platform. So when
yeah.
there was an ICO, you may have got a token and they were upfront. You just weren't smart enough to figure out that, or even they weren't upfront, that they were taking your money to build a completely different project that had nothing to do with that money.
Yeah.
And that's sort of kind of what like XRP and Ripple are.
Right. And I think that, a lot of people got taken, man, because there's a lot of really great ideas out there, a lot of great white papers that came out, and people are like, this is going to be the next big thing. Look, it's a huge idea. And, Ripple, XRP is going to, crush the banking, and they're going to be the next big thing. And really, it's just all a load of horse shit, man. And when you look at the fundamentals of these projects and the white papers, that's when it really becomes clear. But most people weren't doing that. They were just FOMO buying these things because someone on YouTube told them, or they saw it on Twitter, or whatever it may be. And so the education wasn't there. And that's definitely what I've always tried to do is caution people, don't just do something because you saw some dude on Twitter. Don't even if you see me talking about it. I always say make sure you do your own research. I try and be as
Especially if
impartial
you
as I
see me
can.
do it.
Yeah, yeah. If you see Ken do it, man, you definitely better think twice.
Do your own research, guys. I tend to throw myself into things just to lose money for fun because I want to play around. I mean, we're beta testing the future of
Right.
money, dude, and
Yeah.
we're gonna hit bugs. It's gonna be shitty experience. Hey, thanks for the super chat. Oh, Bitcoin Ben in the house with the 420. Is that
Bitcoin Ben.
Bitcoin
I'm going to see
Ben.
Bitcoin Ben in Texas here in April, man. He's doing that big meetup. Are you going to be there?
Warrants. Homeland Security arrested me, stuff like that. But I'm
What?
pretty sure it's a state warrant, so I don't think they're gonna kick in my door anytime soon. But yeah, they really want me to show up to court, and I'm not doing that.
Oh, so is it? It's Texas then, huh?
Yeah, it's just me and Texas don't get along, and it's probably because of the cologne. I think it's the Cannabis cologne I wear. You know, it's
Okay.
yeah. But no, I wish I could. Maybe I'm gonna have to hire one of those like robots with the iPads to like walk around as me.
Sweet. Yeah,
But
you should do that,
yeah, it's
man.
only like what, like $50 or something to get a ticket to get into this amazing event.
No,
Like
it's oh no, it's 20. It's 20
20.
bucks, man.
Oh,
Bitcoin Ben is a hero, and he's doing this amazing event, which is is a charity event, but it's also going to be one of the biggest crypto meetups ever in Blanco, Texas, on April 6th. I'm going to be there. BitBoy is going to be there. J Chains, a
everyone's
couple of
gonna be
those
there.
Satoshi droppers from my group, and I mean tons of other people. I mean that's the Wild West Crypto Show guys. I mean there's so many people there, man. I can't even name them all, but it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm actually really looking forward to it. It's going to be a great networking event and supporting a good cause. And yeah, it's only $20 to get in, man. I think that's amazing. That's what we need more of that in the space of affordable conferences and events that people can go to that do really great things like giving back to charity.
Yeah, and hanging out with really awesome people that have been in the space for a while, and
Yeah,
it's a different environment when it's not a conference and it's a meetup. You know,
yeah,
it's less shilly booths and stuff, and more things that actually contribute to the
yes,
quality of
yeah.
the industry and the communities. So I definitely support meetups, and I wish I could be there. Maybe I can figure something out. I think me and Ben are working on something, but I don't know if the telegraphic hologram and teleporting technology is quite there yet. But
Well, dude,
blockchain AI is working on it. I swear there's an ICO for
Bozak
this.
hologram, dude, like the Tupac hologram,
I'm
will
going to
get you
do an
on
ICO for
stage.
this. We're going to use the money to design some sort of technology, and I'll use, yeah, we'll do an ICO for this. We got this. So what are your thoughts on the futures of fundraising with STOs, right? Like, that's a lot different than what people were used to with this, really cash grab of ICOing, and now it sort of feels like the environment's moving to STOs.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the difference between the two, and will one eliminate the other? Will they both survive? Do they have a purpose, or is it all one or nothing?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. I think that STOs and NFTs kind of like, going the two routes are the evolution of what ICOs really brought to the table. ICOs were like the Wild West. There was no regulation there. People just did it. And then, it kind of blindsided, I think, a lot of the regulatory industry and fundraising industry in general. And so people didn't really know what to take of it, but it just exploded with millions and millions of dollars being put into it. And I think now we've seen more pushback from these regulatory bodies. Now we're
Right.
kind of starting to see the division of these two things where things are very strictly either utility token, like we were talking about earlier with these NFTs and these game assets.
No gray zones.
Right, no gray zones, exactly. Like things like BNB. BNB is always what I point to when somebody says, "Well, what's a utility token really? What does that look like?" And I go, "Well, if you're not talking about a gaming platform, BNB is a great example because it's a token that has a specific use case on this platform, and that's it. I mean, that's how they market it. They say, hey, with this token, you get 50% less fees on our platform by using it, and that's its main utility. It's simple. It works great. And in general, you also get these great returns. But I think that's not how they market it, and that's not what they promised. And so when you look at the difference of where we've gone now, I think we've kind of divided down these two roads of, things being strictly utility token, and then things going more towards the STO, where it's like, well, we want to use this token to raise money for our company in a way that's a little bit more traditional feeling. And so therefore we are kind of saying, hey, if you hold this token or buy this token now, based upon these cool things we're doing or based upon these facts that we have of whatever it's going to be involved with, you're going to be able to realize a gain on that. And so I think definitely STOs are the evolution of what an ICO really was trying to be, but didn't really have its grounded, really well. And so, yeah, I think that we're going to see more and more STOs coming out. I honestly think this year is really the year of the STO versus 2017 being the year of the ICO. I think we're going to see more and more companies moving towards this model. I think we're probably going to see some sort of like more clear regulations from regulatory bodies like the SEC about these types of things.
Well, that's only in the U.S.
Right.
That's a very centralized, small problem to have when you're doing an STO when the rest of the fucking world is at your disposal.
Right. But I think in general, people who are doing these major funding rounds, they want to be able to capture U.S. customers. I mean, 100% U.S. customers are one of the biggest target markets. When you look at even international projects, they always want to try and capture the U.S. market as well. And so, being able to sell your project or your STO or ICO in every major crypto region, and U.S. being one of those, I think that it makes sense that whereas they don't have that same regulation in other countries, but it may actually, because of us kind of leading the way with that, I think it'll encourage other countries to maybe take up similar regulations or adopt similar regulations that they see happening or pioneering here.
I'm
Now,
just
is it
curious how
something that
they're
I
going to
really?
enforce. How do you enforce that? Even if they made the regulations, like, look, somebody does an STO and it's non-US done, and
Yeah.
people invest outside the US. Once those tokens are given to those investors, I could
Hmm.
either have my private keys
Yeah.
stolen, and well, I lost my STO tokens, boss, and that's it. I bought them for you from wherever in the world I needed to, and now you
Right.
can, stake them or do whatever, and you can earn your dividend. And I love that you brought up the utility token with the STO, because I don't think you're going to see many successful STOs without a utility token going hand in hand. Just
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
don't see it. It's not an economy. It's not an ecosystem without that
Right.
particular piece. Like the STO utility token machine is like the perfect perpetual motion machine.
Yeah.
Without it, you're missing a very key factor. It's probably like gravity or something. Like
Well,
you're fucked.
I mean, I would disagree with that a little bit. I think that people can still use, an STO and issuing a token on their blockchain platform as a kind of interim stock. Looking at it as a way where, okay, well, you're basically tokenizing your stock versus, just doing a traditional funding round or an IPO. And so, IPOs are incredibly expensive. I mean, they're millions and millions of dollars to go public. And so, using an STO
Yeah, you
instead
lose
is a
money before you even make money, is what he's saying.
it's a cheaper way to be able to do that, and
So
and still, but
fucked.
still be able to get people to be able to put money into
Right.
into that. And I think they're going to kind of screw the average person probably again and say, oh, it's only for accredited investors or so, or put
But then
regulations on
isn't that going to
it.
make it just as cost ineffective, right? That's what I'm worrying about with these regulations
We
is
don't know.
all the utility behind doing an STO is because it's all that red tape got cut out of the way, right?
Right.
All the middlemen
And
got
hopefully,
eliminated.
yeah.
Regulations are just going to put middlemen back. And the only reason middlemen exist is because regulations put them there through this
Right.
unnecessary insurgency. They're
Yes.
just stuck there in the middle because you can't do anything. I can't work for an employer and have them hand me cash. I have to
Yeah.
have a bank in the middle or a check
Right.
cashing agency, or somebody has to legally be in the middle. Otherwise, they could just hand me the fucking money. It's right there. Just give me
Right.
it. It's mine.
Well, it's called under the table, man. Under
But
the
that's
table.
it works. It saves so much money. I mean, dude, employers have to
Right.
pay a tax just to pay me my money. Employee
Yeah.
tax. That's some crazy.
And,
I pay tax on my own money. Why do they have to do it?
right, and that's how it goes, man. And right now it's difficult to do that with crypto in general because you're taxed twice if you do that. But hopefully, with these regulations, we'll get some better working regulation. I hope. I don't. I hope that they're not as heavy handed. I hope they allow it to be, allow the market to be able to flourish and grow without having to put crazy huge regulations on it that are stifling of the industry, because that's what I'm really afraid of. I'm afraid of them
Same.
putting regulations that are truly going to stifle the growth and the creativity of this industry for their own purposes of being able to control it more versus allowing it to flourish, because they don't want, once again, the average person getting in on this before they can say we got power over it. Now we have power over you.
Well, that's the power that the utility token actually can provide, right? Like the STO is for the accredited investors and whatever approved
But
countries
it
that
doesn't
they're.
need to be. It shouldn't have to be limited to just those people. And that's what I'm saying. I'm that's one of my word. I hate that term, accredited investor, man. It burns in my brain, and I don't like it. And so I hate that people say, or that these bodies say, oh, we're trying to save you from yourself. You're too stupid or too poor to make a good decision on investing in these particular investment vehicles, but you can go play the lotto. You can go to Vegas and gamble all day long and do all
I
these
could go
crazy
spend 20 grand on Big Macs and nobody would arrest me.
right, exactly, and all these other things that with the hopes of gains, but we don't stop you. They don't stop you from doing any of those things. And so I think what it is they're limiting that playing field because they want to keep that status quo and keep the people who are at the top and the people who are at the bottom at the bottom. And that's one of the things I love about crypto. And that's one of the things I love about ICOs and what they were allowed to do, even though there was a ton of scammy ones. And it's shitty that people took advantage of that. But I think that hopefully the space will evolve to a point where there's enough regulation, but not too much. You know, it's the Goldilocks syndrome, man. We don't want a regulation that's too heavy, but we don't want no regulation. You know, I think finding that perfect.
Just don't regulate the money coming in and regulate the people asking for it. And I think that's that Goldilocks zone, right? Like, I should be allowed to invest my money into whatever I want. Sorry, that thing. Yeah. It's like the NSA calling.
They're like, damn it, we saw your live stream. We're coming out to both you guys.
But like I should be able to throw my money at any stupid idea as long as the people behind it are held accountable for the actions that, you know, of doing something with that money, right, in a net positive way, and not running away or whatever, or at least having.
And that's a hard thing to do globally. You know, when you think about, like you were talking about before, this global economy that we're moving towards, Bitcoin is global. You know, the U.S. dollar is global as well, but it's still rooted here and controlled by, you know, the U.S. essentially, and so are all these other fiat currencies. But cryptocurrencies are a global thing, and so you're right. Like, how do you regulate that across, you know, multiple countries and different you know, laws that they all have? I mean, it is a difficult thing to do, and I think we're still trying to figure all those things out. And so until then, I mean, I just try and do as much research as I can, because that's really what it comes down to is doing your research and not FOMOing into a bunch of shit coins.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to reconsolidate actually back into Bitcoin and trying to as soon as I have as much as I had diversified, I think I'm just gonna do like one Ethereum, one Litecoin, one Dash, one Monero, like one of these coins, and then put everything I have into Bitcoin, and then use Celsius Network to earn my interest, because I've just been hodling, and interest scared me ever since like BitConnect. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do anything that has anything to, but from what I've seen with like what Monarch's doing and Celsius Network, I can just like have my private keys. I can move my money, but as soon as I move it, I just stop earning the interest. So that's pretty cool. So I'm just like, I'm looking more into reconsolidating back into Bitcoin, and it's because I just see if anything's gonna move as much in percentage gain, even if it's a penny, I don't care what the coin is right now. If Bitcoin starts to jump again, that gain that you're going to miss will not be something that you can, you know, make up for in any altcoin hedging. You know, if you were to hedge into 7 different altcoins right now with $1,000, a year from now, all of that still won't get you the same amount of Bitcoin that you could have got today with that amount of money.
It could be true, man. You're right. I mean, it really just depends on how big a gainers you get, but it is a much greater risk to that. I mean, I would say obviously my advice is always be, you know, somewhat diversified, but yeah, I definitely agree with you. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, but Bitcoin is definitely, you know, my first love. And yeah, I mean, but I still hold a couple other coins and things, products that I truly believe in. You know, when I invest into something, I don't do it lightly. I always do a massive amount of research, and it's always with something that has a working product. Like if you don't already have a working product out there, or something that I know for sure is solid, like I'm probably not going to invest.
Well, that's why I kind of brought up the Gods Unchained thing, because I know they have a working product. I've seen the beta; it exists, but it doesn't exist. But it does, and I like to talk about Schrodinger's box and Schrodinger scams, and how everything in crypto is in the box. It's the cat. Yeah. Every project is the cat in Schrodinger's box. We don't know if it's a scam or not because we haven't opened it. It hasn't exited. It hasn't, you know what I mean? So it's like Gods Unchained is in that beautiful spot right now where it doesn't exist, and it's like a perfect example to be used. I love it. I know it's there. The bait is out there, guys. It's just a perfect example of how other projects may appear, and you just got to keep your eyes, because if that's my thing, that's why I like, if I'm going to invest in something, if I can't use it, I'm not holding it. I'm not touching it. And that's why I really kind of got really into Tron. I've been playing a lot with like the Tron dApps and Tron blockchain games. I've been holding more Ethereum recently because I'm using a lot of Ethereum games, and you know, unfortunately they cost some gas, but they're just fun to play. And there's just other things like Steam. I've been holding more Steam and trying to earn more Steam because I want to buy and play with Steam monsters. And so it's like
those things motivate you, and then you can actually do something with your crypto that's cool and fun, and not just like, you know, it makes it more likely that you want to use it on a daily basis.
Yeah, basic attention tokens, another one, Bat and Brave. I earn it. I don't quite frequently check it. I do get it quite often. I get little like things, alerts from it because I set up my basic attention token receiving, which is
Yeah.
basically proving I own my YouTube channel and proving I own my Twitch account. And when people watch my YouTube or Twitch and they have a basic attention token wallet, they can, which they do, I guess, if they go into their settings, they automatically donate some basic attention token for every like minute that they're watching, which is freaking cool. Like it's
Yeah,
a working product.
I've been using a Brave browser for since 2017, man. I had it on my phone, and then I moved to it on my desktop, and I love it. It's a great browser. I mean, it's once again working product, great team. You know, amazing fundamentals. Like all these things are huge wins, and I think
Java.
Yeah.
This dude created Java, and then he created Brave browser, and then he created basic attention token. And I think I feel like I did, that they partnered with like they partnered with the DAO to create an opt-in advertising platform instead of an opt-out ad blocking platform.
Right, exactly.
Sign me the fuck up for that, bro. Like,
I know.
I'm so sick of not knowing what's going on in my area. Like, have you noticed since getting into Bitcoin that nothing else shows up on Google or Facebook ads at all but Bitcoin or ICOs and shit? Like, I am stuck in this weird little biodome of blockchain, and I don't even know what's going on outside anymore. There was like a Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart was like in town not too long ago, and I would have went, but I didn't see the ad. I didn't see the friggin' ad because I use an ad blocker. So like
I'm fine with that, man. You know, I never really clicked on ads anyways that often. I mean, very rarely.
But
so
they don't, because they didn't appeal to you, right? So if basic attention token could build ads that specifically are ones that you only wanted to see, because like if you go to Arby's, you don't care unless they, it's an Arby's thing, and I can get 20% off. That's an ad worth showing me. Yeah, I'm gonna click on that.
Yeah, exactly.
So like they'll pay you for that.
That makes a lot of sense. I'm really excited for the BAT advertising network to come out, to be able to earn BAT by seeing those ads and opting into them, and then them being specifically targeted. So we'll see how that works, man.
Somebody said Coinbase earn, but fuck Coinbase, just for the record.
Hey, I gotta get going, buddy. But I want to do one cool thing before we go.
Let's do it.
I got this magic orb here. This is my crypto predicto. I don't know if you can see this, but let me put it up here. Mr. Predicto, Crypto Predicto. I got this as a gift for Christmas. And so I'm gonna turn it on right now, and it's gonna predict.
That's the official financial advisor of this podcast.
My official financial advisor right here. So I'm gonna turn it on. I'm gonna ask it for what is gonna be the hot coin the rest of this week, and it's gonna tell me. All right, ready?
Come on.
I see an opportunity in the new ICO.
You're very vague there, Mr. Crypto Predictor. Give me one more.
Cardano.
There we go. Cardano.
Shout out to Charles Hoskins and
You heard it here
IOHK, guys.
Mr. Crypto Predicto.
All right, so we got to keep an eye out for a new ICO, because I feel like that's like a subliminal hint from our financial advisor. And
right. We were just talking about them.
I guess we got to go all in on Cardano. Just sell everything, sell your house, probably whatever, your wife's diamond ring. Go all in on Cardano, because that crystal ball's our financial advisor, and it's better than anybody else has been in this space, man. I'm telling you, I hate the whole like Bitcoin experts or whatever. It's just have fun with it, guys. Dude, thank you so much for coming on. Let everybody know where they can find you and your content and everything like that. Show yourself, bro.
Yeah, so you can find all my stuff on cryptostash.com, STACHE, the stash. Like to stash my coins, but so you can find me there. Jump on my newsletter. I send out a lot of great information through that. Tons of free content for beginners all the way to advanced and intermediate people. But you can find me on Twitter too, at CryptoStash. I'm on YouTube, CryptoStash. Pretty much anywhere you go, if you type in at CryptoStash, I'm there, man. Instagram, Steam it.
Killed the SEO market.
Same across, yeah, exactly. I'm there across all platforms, and I'm actually I do a lot of meetups. So if you're local in Southern California, I do help host a monthly meetup called Blockchain Plus with my buddy Gaston and a couple other buddies here in Long Beach. And I'll be at Crypto Invest Summit too. So if you guys are in town around,
I think
for
I'm
that,
going to make it to that, man. I had Elon on the podcast not too long ago, and he invited me out there, and I would love to be there again. Last year was a blast, dude. It's
yeah.
like I told you, I got to figure out how to move out there. That's all. Just got to figure it out, and that's I think where I might go.
Make it happen, man.
I might have to make that happen, bro. So much appreciated, guys. Check out Crypto Stash and go harass him on Twitter and ask him for one of his collectibles on the Engine blockchain or Wax blockchain, because he's got collectibles, and I got some of myself. Like, I mean, I wanted to ask you before you had to go, like, how's it feel to have, like, what I call my own shitcoin? Like, I am my own shitcoin, man. Like, I got my own thing. Like, it's freaking neat, right?
I got the first. I'm actually coming with another one that I'm hopefully partnering with Engine here, and it's going to be a new design called. It's going to be a variant of my Wax sticker, so Mystery Stash, and it'll be an Engine NFT that I'm going to launch here and do a giveaway. So look for that soon.
Dude, I'm stoked because you know what I'm thinking about? The games that are going to be able to incorporate our collectibles as like Easter egg rewards or like in-game content. Imagine like a little stash running around in a game or something, or being able to be like a sword or something in another game. It is really cool. All right, guys.
So many possibilities.
I'll let you get going, bro. Don't forget, guys, pound that thumbs up button, click subscribe, flick the alert bell, drop some comments, and have a day.
That's